if you look closely at the set today, you're going to see the little creatures that came in with yesterday's pot plant that was sitting over there somewhere. They have quite taken Lucy's imagination, so goodness only knows what she'll get up to.
Yeah.
So what you'll find are black ants all over the place. They're crawling on the wall. I've got no idea what they're going to do, and Lucy's quite fascinated with them. So welcome, Karen. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. What's your first piece of random shit to share with us?
Okay, well, this fish.
Oh, yes.
So there's a bit of a story about this fish, and it's not looking very happy, but it has a lot of sentimental value. So I got this fish out of when I first finished university. My first job was working at ABC Television in Melbourne, and on a live Saturday morning show called Recovery. And so I joined the show after Dylan Lewis, Those Who Love Recovery. It was after it was in the studio. But the first series I worked on, we actually were in a house in Elwood. And my job, I was a production secretary, so I was doing pretty much everything and anything. And so part of my job, I would get up super early and help the production coordinator, Leanne, who's also now a very dear friend of mine, and we would get all the catering and all the sort of operational stuff to make the show, the 3-hour show, run smoothly.
Yep.
And my job when the show was going on was actually to transport people from the studio to the house. So that was quite interesting. And this was just one of the props that was in the house. And when the series ended, we did it again, but it wasn't in the house. We were allowed to take something from the house for sentimental value. So this was it. So to me, it just represents a really exciting time of my life. It was when I first started my city. And I have to say the wrap party for that series was like, have you ever seen those American movies where the kids go, the parents go away and the kids run, like have a party in the house? It was like there were punks. It was amazing. It was still the best party I've ever been to in my life. And so, so when I look at this, I remember that exciting time when I was just launching, and working out in the field.
Yeah. That's exciting and unusual for a production to take place in a house in Elwood.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it really was. It was very much an experiment. But yeah, it worked. It worked well, and it didn't work so well. But it was definitely an interesting time and something I've never seen really happen before, because there were different things going on. Like at that time, Lee Winnell, who he co-wrote and directed all the Saw horror films. So.
Oh, yeah.
The film reviewer on Recovery, and so he used to do his film reviews in the spa in the bathroom. so all the different sections of this house. It was a big house in Elwood, and people there were different segments and things going on in each area. So it was such an interesting time. It was really fun.
Yeah. I love the sound of that. That's something that I'd love to be able to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first piece of random shit is something that I found in the cupboard. And it's got something to do with this little Mac computer. And when our oldest son, Lewis, started collecting Mac computers, he ended up with 3 of these ones. And we still have one, even though he doesn't live here anymore. And I pulled this out of the cupboard today, and I just said to Matt, because I'd completely forgotten what it was for, I said, what on earth is all of this? Because there's these bottles, and there's a paintbrush, and a toothbrush and gloves and all manner of things here, scissors. And I said, why is this in my house? And he said, oh, well, that's because these were quite yellow and Lewis used all of these things to restore them. So they've gone back to their nice whatever colour you want to, that grey kind of colour that they are now.
Wow.
Yeah, but obviously these are now redundant and we still have them because that's what happens in the parents' house, isn't it? You just end up with all of the bits and pieces that they no longer need.
Yeah, you know.
Incredible. Now, do you have a second piece of random shit for us?
I do. So this, I'm not sure if you can see it very closely. This is like it's brass, I'm not sure, but I bought, it's a little figurine of Ganesh.
Ganesh.
So Hindu god Ganesh. And so I bought this on my very first trip to India, and it was just in a little shop in Delhi. And then I took it with me. I went on a tour the first time because I was traveling on my own, and I just wanted to sort of get my bearings. So I went on a tour, and part of that tour we went to Varanasi, which was a really holy place. And I was blessed by a Hindu priest, and then I took this and cleansed it in the Ganga. And so it just has very sort of special sentimental value to me. And then now I take it with me whenever I'm traveling, because Ganesh is supposed to be, among many things that Hindus believe, that he is the remover of obstacles. And so really not about he doesn't remove the obstacles, but he helps you to remove the obstacles. So I often take that when I'm traveling or anything like that, just to help me have a smooth or safe journey while I'm on my way. Yeah. So yeah,
that's a lovely thing, Karen. I really like to have talismans and items like that, because they help you to focus on something and they help you to remember how to do things, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, and I need that, because sometimes my mind's like, woo, I need to come back and just remember what's important to me.
Yeah, so. Absolutely, me too. I'm very similar like that. Now, the second piece that I've got is really quite ridiculous.
Let me be the judge of that.
It's a gourd, and I had this just as a plain gourd, unpainted, and then one day I was, when I was working for the Kitchen Garden Foundation, call from one of the resource developers, and they said, Robin, we really need a photo of some kids painting a gourd. Can you arrange that? And serendipity had been on my side that day, because I just happened to have a gourd and I had a bunch of kids in the house at the time. And so within half an hour of her requesting this, I was able to deliver the finished product. I know. So this is so this is the god of serendipity that I hang on to for similar reasons, I guess, in that you can just achieve anything if you've got enough random shit in your house,
totally.
Including children.
That's great.
Yes, and it's still got that nice shaking kind of sound that dried gourds have. Oh dear. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. I love those two pieces. Because they're just rich with imagery, aren't they? I can imagine that party, because I've been to parties like that.
I can still see it. I really can. It was a fun one.
Yeah, how fabulous. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for that. Thanks for hanging around all week. It's been wonderful. I think that we're going to go to 2 days a week from next week. Because work is getting busier, and, we can't expect you to be here 5 days a week. So I'm thinking out loud to the crew in the crew room, Tuesdays and Thursdays. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Okay, and don't forget that I want you to tell me how many marbles are in the jar. So we've had a couple of people write in. One bid was 1,500, so see how you go. I'll see you on Tuesday. Yeah. It is just, I wanted to say like a grown-up show and tell or an adult show and tell, but I figured that would actually bring out a bit of sleaziness in some people's minds. So
I think of it purely, but yeah.
I do too, but I thought that it would just be such a bit, it gives you a better image of what it's about. But the minute you put adult there,
it goes somewhere else.
It